This video is going to be about doing the backsplash in the kitchen. I have done one backsplash before my whole life, and today we are going to try to start a new one. The one I did before was a typical tile. You put the cement on the back, you put it on. At work, I ended up with some extra metal, rusty corrugated metal used for roofing. And me and my wife talked about it, and we thought, we're going to put this on the backsplash. I think it'll look good. We'll see what happens. You'll be along for the ride. But it's not going to be the typical cement. We're actually going to be screwing it. So I guess we'll get at it. It's been sitting in the garage for a good 6 months now, so she'll be happy I'm starting this. So, okay, first thing I'm going to do, just take some measurements. You'll see as we go out and we cut, you'll see the size and kind of how we get at it. Let's go from there. So the metal we got is an inch thick. Just measured it. And this backsplash kicker, I don't know what you call it, on the back of the counter, it's actual stone. Decided I'm going to leave it there because it makes a good, nice shelf for the metal to sit on. So I'm just going to take some measurements here to fit the first piece. It's about 3 feet wide, so it should come out to about here, the very first piece. And so we're going to be notching it around this cabinet, and we'll go from there. I decided to cut out. I know a lot of you might be saying this is not the right way to do it. When you do your typical backsplash, you pull the outlets out so they're flush with the surface. It's going to be kind of hard with the corrugated metal. So I decided to leave it where it is. It's going to be recessed a little bit. But I'm going to put a nice piece of wood trim around here, and we'll see how it looks. I thought about doing stained. I like the dark wood, but a lot of the accents in my kitchen are black, so maybe we'll end up painting it black. We'll kind of tackle that when we get there. So I'm going to measure this. We're going to go out. We'll cut it in the garage. We'll go from there. Alright, so here we are in the garage. This is the metal. You can kind of see got a little bit of rust on there. When I got it at work, it had been sitting out there for a while, and water had kind of gotten in the stack. I've got a bunch of pieces were stacked on top of each other, so the water that kind of went through there kind of made a cool look to it. You can see the rust of where the water was on the low spot, but it still looks new here. My goal is to keep that look, and to do that, I think I'm going to have to paint it. The problem with just leaving it now is I think that as you're using the kitchen, water splashing on it, it's going to start to rust. And eventually, if you've seen a piece of metal, I know it's inside, I don't know, I'm guessing, but if you've seen a piece of metal that's been outside for a long time, it's completely rusty. So what we're going to do is wipe it down really good and then put just a clear coat on it. Try to make it preserved so it doesn't rust, but it kind of stays where it's at. That's what my goal is. We'll see. Time will tell. So I'm just going to lay it out from the measurements I took inside, and I'm going to use a 4-inch angle grinder with the cutting blade. Put my safety stuff on, we'll cut it, we'll take you along for the ride. Alright, what I've done is I've laid out both the pieces here because I wasn't sure how it was going to look where the two met. The corrugations just kind of fit together, but it'll work good. So I'm going to slide it apart. There's the two pieces. I'm actually just going to take my little drawing here and kind of lay this out. And it's a little bit wider than 3 feet, but the coverage is going to be about 3 feet. We'll just go with it. 14, and I had a pen with my paper, but we will probably need some type of marker, something in a square. Not prepared. I'll get it. I'll be back. Well, alright, ready to cut, and I've got something I'm going to put them on. As you can see, I don't own traditional sawhorses. Maybe with all the money I save from doing the backsplashes, I'll be able to invest in some someday, but these are things I made to actually put a saddle over. They're rounded. I think it'll work okay though, and I'm not too worried about the blade coming through and nicking the wood. So here we go. I've got a couple of them. We'll go through this. Alright, whenever possible, not whenever possible, all the time, wear safety equipment. You know, I've used angle grinders, I've done a lot of stuff with metal, trucks, I like doing repairs, and over the years, young, stupid, there's a lot of times where I didn't want to take the time to find my safety glasses, and every once in a while you get a little nick or dust or something in your eye, you can wipe it out, whatever, you keep on going. But it wasn't until I got a little bit older, maybe smarter, and saw a YouTube video of a blade coming apart on one of these angle grinders, and it came up and whacked the guy and stuck right in his face. Didn't look fun. Don't want to lose my vision. I like to see things. Glasses all the time. Even better, face shield. I don't have a face shield. At least I'm going to put the glasses on. A lot of times if I can, I use the thick, heavy welding gloves. I figure it slips, something comes apart, you got longer to and get away from it before it cuts you real bad. Bare minimum, just find some gloves that will help you a little bit. I think one of the smartest things we can use is our brain. I'm going to go slow, going to take my time, pay attention to what I do. Don't get in a rush, because that's when you'll have problems, get hurt. So bare minimum, some glasses, some gloves, and pay attention to what you do. Actually, I'm going to make another mark. This cut is in the low section. If I flip it over, it's going to be the high section, but it's too hard to cut it in this low section. So I made a nick on this side so I can see it from the back side. I'm actually going to make a nick on this end so I can see it from the back side too. Flip it over, mark it, and be able to cut the high side, which will be easier than get down in the grooves. Before I do that, I might as well finish off my cut off the rest of the metal on this side before I have to flip it. I only have to flip it once. We're getting closer. First piece, I haven't really calculated how many pieces it's going to take to go around the whole backsplash, but 5, 6, 7. So it doesn't seem to be too time consuming. I might be able to get it done in a fairly timely manner, but I have a tendency to hurry, so I'm going to stop, think. I'll explain to you what I'm thinking as we go along. We'll all see the finished product at the end. So I've cut everything I need to except for that one cut here. I'm going to flip it over so it's on the high side. I can cut that, mark it. We'll take it in and do a quick test fit, and we'll both see how the first piece looks. And it's going down fairly quickly. It was already halfway gone. Doing a kitchen about the same size as mine, you might end up going through 2 or 3 of them. We'll see. Well, we've got it all cut. There might be a little strand of metal holding it together. I'm going to pull it apart. It should come apart fairly easy, and then I might just take it in because I'm excited to see how it fits. After that, using this type of cutter, it leaves burrs everywhere. In an effort not to have people cut themselves on the finished product, it'll be come back out for deburring, for cutting the hole for my outlet, wiping it down for the painting, but we'll take it in. We'll see how the initial cut went. That is after I cut this little piece right here that's still hanging on. Alright, here we are. And I noticed on the way in, cutting something, welding, they all have like this unique metal smell. I like it. If you know what I'm talking about, you've done a little bit of that stuff, but I'm wearing my glove because of the sharp edges. I'm going to be real careful because it does leave quite a burr on a lot of these from cutting it that way. So I'm just going to put it up there in place, and we'll see if it even fits and how it looks. Okay, it's a little tight or loose right here, but up here by the black, there, it is actually kind of tight. So the whole height, I probably should knock it down just a little bit. It'll probably go into place a little bit. I'm going to back you up so you can see maybe a little better view of it. And there you go. So let's check it out. Alright, after sitting here, looking at it, thinking about it for a minute, I make a game plan, sharing it with you guys. Up towards the top, where it's too tight, I gotta cut it down. There's an outlet right around here somewhere. I'm gonna, when I pull the metal down, measure it and try to do my best to cut the opening as square and as beautiful as possible. So as we put the trim around the outlet, the wood, that it will look clean. I don't want to do my best to not have jagged cuts around the trim so it looks clean. I'm actually going to pull it off right now and kind of see how it fits on the top. I think it fits beautifully on the bottom, leaving this here. You could do it either way. You could pull off the back, the little, I don't know what you call it, it's the counter back, maybe it's a backsplash, what you call it, but off so it goes all the way down to the counter. I like it there, especially for this application, because the metal needs that nice ledge to sit on. No one can cut on the bottom, nothing can get behind it, underneath it, and it's nice and clean. So I'm leaving it. Depends on what kind of counter you have, make your decision there, but let's just pull it off. We'll go on to cutting the outlet and trim down the top. We'll put it back in, we'll see how it looks. I'll go more into detail for those of you that want more. My outlet is here. The thickness of my metal is 1 inch. I figured it would look good to have a 1 inch thick trim. I'll make it 1 inch square all the way around. And that way, no matter where the metal's cut, whether it's a high point or a low point, if it's a high point especially, it won't stick out past that trim. I might even go just a tad over 1 inch just to be safe. And so it'll basically be a wooden box framing around the outlets and the plugs along the backsplash to trim it out. Painted black, I think this is the way I'm going. And we'll see how it looks in the end. But I want to be very careful to leave enough room around it to be able to pull the covers off in case I need to access the plugs or the outlets. I'll get it as close as possible, but it's going to be key here to get the hole in the right spot so I don't have too big of a gap around there and it looks pretty in the end. So I'll try to take my time on this, even more so than the cutting along the top. So here it goes. I've made my rough marks. I know how big it is. I'm gonna mark it, go back out in the shop, we'll cut it out. We'll see how it goes.